Am I audible? You all are able to see my screen, right? Thanks. So I hope till now we had a very enthusiastic 3 days, and as we move further, we reach the new heights of that. Remember my first day PPT, that diagram, that new generation ABAP. So by day 10, we should all be on that same lines, where we like proudly say that yes, we are moving forward with ABAP and we are not going to lose out on anything new. I hope you all are with me on the same lines as we all have been going through this last 3 days. So okay. So first of all, tell me, should we discuss this week's assignment first, or should we first go ahead with today's session and then we discuss? Because there are many things planned for today. How do you want to plan it for? Should we discuss the assignment first or how? Okay, fine then. Few minutes of discussion. Any one of you, do you want to ask any questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask me. Let's have some 10-15 minutes of discussion first.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, who is this?
Sudha.
Yeah, hi Sudha.
Okay, so in our ABAP HANA, in HANA, right, we have lots of different segments like CDS views, then CDS with Fiori elements where we use lots of annotations, then UI5 for Fiori and all those, right? So where does this ABAP and HANA is being majorly used when HANA comes into place? Because CDS with the Fiori elements, UI5 is also being used for the reports and so on, and then we also have RAP and so on. So normally when does the developer majorly use this ABAP and HANA?
Okay, so the thing that you are asking me, first of all you tell me, CDS with Fiori elements and UI5 goes for front-end developments, right?
Correct.
Now coming to the back-end development, wherein suppose you want to create some very fast oriented reports. Fine. Suppose if you have the old reports which were taking around 1 hour or 1.5 hours odd time, and those reports were using very huge database tables. Now suppose if the requirement comes that they want the performance to be optimized with respect to those tables, leave those reports, example day-to-day processes, because we already have a lot of existing processes across different modules in our SAP thing, right? So with respect to those modules, if we want to do any performance improvement or any kind of new requirement which comes as a part of enhancements or modifications or new developments, then my ABAP on HANA and code push down much more comes into picture. And as you are asking me about CDS with Fiori elements and UI5, those and RAP, that is RESTful application ABAP programming, that will be more pointing towards your front-end development. Suppose when you want, example, see, custom UI5 is completely a front-end development. Now with CDS with Fiori elements, basically what it does is it gives you certain templates with the help of which an ABAPer can do UI5 developments without having much knowledge of UI5, because he or she doesn't need to write much of JavaScript or all those codes. They can use the templates which is generated by SAP, do rapid developments with the help of CDS and annotations, and that's it. But till now, that CDS with Fiori elements, as in terms of requirement perspective, it has not grown so popular that requirements are coming more. It's been like, if you see with S4 HANA coming in the picture, a lot of requirements will come on ABAP on HANA and CDS and AIM DBs, not on CDS with Fiori elements. It depends on company to company, on organization to organization, if they really want to adopt CDS with query elements or not. Otherwise, if you see, already we have UI5. And frankly speaking, if your organization wants an application with all the transactional and the other features where they want to navigate from here to there, click this button, do this, they want a lot of feasibility, suppose, okay, then you can't have CDS with query elements. You have to go with UI5 only. So then that CDS with query elements will be completely omitted out. CDS with query elements will be only there because see, when you are using SAP templates, obviously a lot of restrictions also will come in because it's their template. So you have to abide by that template. You cannot have a lot of flexibility. And when we are developing front-end applications, end users want a lot of flexibility. So with all flexibilities and all the options taken into picture, the viability will be with UI5 only. I hope it answers your question, Sudha.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Was it useful?
Yeah.
Fine. Any further question? Anyone wants to ask any other question? Rash, what is Rash? Sushil, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Kabir.
Hi, Sushil.
Kabir, can you know?
I can hear actually a lot of background noises. Others, can you please go on mute? Yeah, Sushil, you can ask your question. Sushil, are you there? I think we lost him. Any other question? Rash, we haven't heard about Rash. What is Rash? Are you talking about RAP? RAP? Okay, this RESTful application ABAP programming. Okay. So RESTful ABAP programming model, basically it's your ABAP RESTful programming model. So this is one of the latest programming model that has come into picture, which is applicable only from your S4HANA 1909 on-premise version or your ABAP on cloud. It is same like how we used to build an application with CDS with query elements by making use of annotations. Rather than using that programming model or CDS with BOF, there is a concept called Business Object Processing Framework. Rather than that, we can make use of ABAP RESTful programming model to develop transactional report-based applications with the help of CDS and behavior definition and behavior implementation. It's one of the latest programming model that has been launched by SAP recently. As in, you can say 1 year back. It is gradually picking up, and how to say, till now it is not yet stable. But if you ask me frankly, RAP, as in the ABAP RESTful programming model with on-premise and on cloud, will be in demand in the coming years. Does that answer your question, Sushil? Any other question? Please unmute yourself and speak up, guys. Let's have two more questions, and then we can start for today. Anyone wants to ask me anything? So should I take it as no? And should we proceed with today's session? What about others apart from Naren? Should we proceed then? No further discussion? Alright. Fine. So just confirm if you are able to see my screen. Okay, thank you. So yesterday we saw how to make use of the for operator along with the reduce operator to and basically how to filter the data, that is basically an alternative to select on your internal table, and also to invert the selection by making use of the except. Then we also understood instead of if and else if condition, now we can start applying conditional and switch operator, and also we can club both the same to get a requirement done rather than writing nested if and forgetting the end if where to write and then like breaking our head where did we miss that end if. Better to go with condition and switch, resolve it in one line, and that's it, your requirement is done. So moving on today we will be understanding how to group data using loops. One of the participants was having this query yesterday. Then we will understand the table comprehension concept by the help of reduction along with grouping. Then the very famous move corresponding being replaced with the corresponding operator, and there are 3-4 variants to it where we will see how to go with those variants, like by adding base, mapping and except. And finally your famous ABAP open SQL, which you use it so frequently in your codes, not only in your codes, in your CDS views, in your everything. So there's certain inbuilt SQL functions and the new features which have come up. Fine. So using the group by operator, the group by loop, what it does basically, suppose if you have a grouping of data, it iterates through those computed group values and finally it gives you the output in case of a group. So what I mean is, let's start. First I'll show you a scenario earlier how you used to do. So I'll select, for this scenario I found SPFLI to have good use case for this. So fields, char ID, con ID and distance. Then into table @data and LT_SPFLI. So I've selected my data. Now what I'll do, I'll sort LT_SPFLI by char ID so that I get the sorted data now. Now loop at LT_SPFLI into data W work area, fine, and loop, fine. Now inside this, what I'll do, at new and at, fine, at new, what I'll do, at all new char ID. Here I'll just first of all mention which all carrier IDs are coming. So carrier ID 13 space W_SPFLI char ID and here color, fine. Now what I'll do, I've just first whatever carrier IDs will come, I'll just print them, and after that what I'll do again, I'll make use of the statement, and here instead of carrier ID I'll write connection number. I'll start from the position 10 and then WSPFLI con ID 35 at the position 35, distance, and here W underscore SPFLI and distance. Fine. Now what I'll do after I printed this, at end of char ID and end at, I want to get the sum. Fine. I'll skip one line, sum, and then write total distance as WSPFLI distance and color 3. Fine. Now let me show the output of this. So see here, career ID A, this is my connection number, this is my distance, connection number, this is my distance. I'm getting the total distance with respect to all this combination data. So why I first showed you the old scenario is, earlier we used to write like this, right? For getting the grouping and all, at new and at end date and all. Okay. Now, rather than doing this, I want to show you how to make use of the group operator to do this grouping. So my 1, 2, 3, 4 char IDs, 5, 6, 7, 8 carrier IDs. Okay. So now how do I do the same by making use of the grouping? I'll just so what I'll do here first, by making use of your group operator. Fine. So first I want to have a declaration, local declaration, begin of ty underscore data, and there what I want to show is, sorry, I'll not do this. This I'll show you later. So I'll comment it out from here and I'll write it again. So loop at IT into internal table into the work area. Now after this, group by, make use of the group by, and I want to group by with what? Carrier ID, right? So I want to group by carrier ID equals to W underscore SPFLI carrier ID. Now that I have done the group by of this, I want to get the data in ascending format, ascending, and this group data I have to capture it into a variable. So like how we do the inline declaration. So into data group, done, and end loop. Okay. So loop at this part remained the same. I wanted to group by data on the basis of the career ID. So group by career ID equals to this, and I want to group it in the form of ascending order into, like I want to capture this entire group into a work area or field symbol. I have used a work area here, into data group. Now let me first write the, I'll use the statement. And I'll make the necessary changes here. So career ID 13, instead of WSPFLI career ID, see here I'll make use of group, and if I do a space here, see career ID is automatically coming because I have specified here that I want the grouping on the basis of career ID. Fine. Now that I have written this, now I will loop add into this group. Loop add group, G-R-O-U-P. First loop add group, the syntax, then the group name, then again into data, because so into data what I'll do, I'll break up this group so that I can do the calculation. So loop add group, group name, into data work area and loop. Fine. Now inside this I will use the statement, and now here instead of WSPFLI I will use the ls underscore group con id ls underscore group. See here, if I do a control space, carrier ID con id distance, because when I did the grouping, this entire data came to this group. Now when I loop add into this group, because this group will have those set of values, right? Those computed values on the basis of this carrier ID. So this entire, when I do, I will get all the data here. So let me write it here. Now I want to have the total distance. So I want to have the total summation of the distance. So LV underscore dot underscore distance equals to, oh, I cannot use an inline declaration here because I have to use it here again. So let me declare one variable, LV underscore dot underscore distance type SPFLI distance. Fine. I cannot use inline declaration here because I have to see, I have to write like this. I'll show you. This plus then my ls underscore group and distance. Suppose, see, if I just comment this line, what is actually happening here? I will do inline declaration, right? But how do I handle this part? I cannot use an inline declaration here. So it will give you an error that this distance is not known, and I cannot use an inline declaration here. See, because it is on the left hand side of the expression, right? So see, it will tell me now that inline declaration is not allowed at this position because it has to be on the left hand side. So that's why I told I cannot use an inline declaration in this scenario. So that's why I told that I will also show you the scenarios throughout the course where you will not be able to use inline declaration sometimes. So now let me uncomment this. So now LV total distance equals to this. Now what I'll do, after this I'll use a skip, I'll use a write statement and I'll just copy paste from here, I'll make it here, and here what I'll do, 20 LV underscore dot underscore distance color 3, and after this I'll clear it out, skip and clear LV underscore dot underscore distance, and done. Now let me show you the output. Now see here, can you see the same output? I have not used that one. Can you see the same output? Carrier ID is this, connection number this, total distance is this. Carrier ID is this, total distance is this. So this was my entire group, right? Entire grouping, and this was my, when I did loop add group inside to get this done, to get the total distance. This was my and a new set of group. This was my another new group of data. Yeah, Sudha, yes, I'll debug. Just I'm showing the output once. We'll go step by step. So now let us debug and see. I'll also show different flavors. Do you think that I will make use of looped group inside this? I'll also show how to eliminate all these things. I'll show each and everything. Now let me put a breakpoint here. And let us debug the same. So now when you debug the same, so loop add this into this. Now see, this is my internal table data, right? Your all internal table data, 26 entries. Now into data work area. Now what I'll do, I'll just do an F5 and show you. When I do an F5, this work area is having my first set of data. See, but do you think the data will come here? No, the data will not come here. This is just for the syntax purpose because I'm grouping the data here into group. So let me show you. Click on this. See here, the group value is A. Can you see here? It will show you the group char ID, that the char ID is A. The unique value, because my char ID is unique here, right? Sorry, the char ID is getting as a group repeated here, right? My unique becomes when I combine char ID and con ID. So on the basis of my char ID, can you see the group is AA? Now when I further do an F5 here, now see here into LS group, okay? Now when I do an F5 here, this first LS group will have my first set of data, AA0017 in this. So when I execute an F5 total distance, now this is my first distance, okay? Now when I do an F5 here, again it will come because that group contains two set of values. So now if you see ls underscore group, now see A0064, it has changed. So while computing, what happens? First of all, it forms a group on the basis of the combination of the repeated values like A. The group is formed. Now when I'm again looping it, that group, loop add group into data work area, that is the ls underscore group. Now this will give me the entire set of value and I am doing the computation here. So now if I do an F8 and if I go to ABAP perspective now, that's why for each and every career ID that is forming a group, then it is computing the values inside that inner loop and then I'm getting the total distance. Suresh, you will, if you want to see the values, you will be, see, I have to specify here. If you see, I specified here on the basis of what I want my grouping. See, grouping has to be on the basis by seeing the data, example, PO number and line item, or sales order and line item. That is a grouping, right? Header and line item, header and line item. So I have to do the grouping in such a way and I specify it here. So since I'm specifying only carrier ID in this perspective, that's why I'm able to see carrier ID only. I won't be able to see the other data. If you want to see the other data, I have to loop add this into that entire group ka set. Then only I'll be able to see that set of data. Yeah, Danny, I'll show you how to eliminate this all new loop add group also. I'll show you. Yeah, you want to debug once more? Just a second. So here, if you do an F5 here and ls underscore group, see the first set of data. If I do and just do an F5 here, see the first set of data came when you do it in 399. At 399 inside the group, I'll just have A. If you want to see the entire set of data, go inside this loop. Suresh, is it clear? So somebody asked me sorting necessary. By the way, for your information, even if I okay, I'll remove this. It doesn't matter. Just a second, wait. Here, I'll just remove this. This I had used because of this perspective. This I'll not use here because already if you see I'm using ascending. Okay, Obviously sorting matters because so that grouping can be faster. When I'm grouping it, if I sort the data in ascending or descending order, my grouping will be faster. So that's why I'm making use of ascending, so that my entire data is grouped in a sorted way. Now, what do you think? Just a second. So first point, rather than making use of the work areas here, I can also make use of the field symbol also. That is, instead of into data, here I can write assigning field symbol. So what do I mean is, assigning field symbol and here group. Now here similarly change in the same way. Now loop add group, change in the same way. Into data ls group, change it in the same way. Change it in the same way and this will change. So if you want to use a field symbol, you can use a field symbol as well. Similarly here, if you also want to use a field symbol inside the inner loop, here also you need to write, rather than into data, make it assigning field symbol and ls underscore group. Similarly here also change the same, ls underscore group, ls underscore group, and here also change the same. So there are two variants to it. One, either you can use a field symbol, or one you can use the inline data declaration. Both you can use inline data declaration, one with respect to field symbol, other with respect to work area. Now suppose I don't want to use this loop inside this. I don't want to use this loop inside this inner loop. Sorry, this inner loop. How do I eliminate? I want to improve the performance. What do I do? Now let me show. Making use of, so I will use the reduce operator. Making use of reduce operator to avoid the inner loop. So now I'll just comment out the same. So now suppose one more scenario I have to just to add you. Whenever you are doing loop at this into data work area, you can also add a where condition to filter the data. Suppose here if you want to add a condition, you can normally add a condition like how you used to write, where suppose where career ID equals to, like how you used to write in the same way, like loop at internal table into work area in the same way. Suppose you want to get the data on the basis of either career ID equals to DL or career ID equals to AH. So I can filter further data here if there is such a scenario. Now suppose with respect to this data, if I want to get the total distance, fine. If I want to get the total distance, so suppose I will take this one. I want to get the total distance with respect to each group. Suppose, okay, this is my requirement. So now what I'll do, LV underscore total distance, make use of the reduce operator, and since here the type is declared, I will make use of hash, okay, and open bracket, close bracket, finish it off. Now inside this initialization init, what I'll do, init what I told you yesterday, if you want to use any type, just give the type here. So init type this. Now make use of for operator. Now suppose implicitly declared work area or field symbol. So for LW underscore AN, now I want to do this inside this group because I was doing it inside this group, right? So in group, then specify the group, whether it's a field symbol or a this thing. Since I've used a field symbol here, so in group, then next I equals to I plus then LWA work and give the distance. Fine. Now what I'll do, I'll just do a skip, write the distance and skip, and I'll use this clear to clear the same. Now how did it get locked? Just a second, let me remove the lock. Naren, what is the system problem that you are facing? Pranay, for handling a function module, still that locking is a issue because some of the user IDs are shared, like at least one user ID is shared between two people or so on. So whenever you are using, just make sure that you do not lock each other or someone. And the thing is that this system has an issue because the idle time is very less. So you have to unlock. If you are making use through ADT, the idle time, that issue won't come, but yeah, locking issue can come. So we have to manage with that. We are trying to speak with the service provider. Let's see if we can get the resolution. Fine. Pranay, it is never advisable to use any select inside a loop. Either make use of joins or make use of for all entries in to get the data and then manipulate your loops. Okay, we were here. So activated. Now let me show you the output. See here, carrier ID equals to DL. I think we missed something. Sorry, there was no such carrier ID as AH. I think it was AA, right? So now let me again rerun it the same. See here, AA and DL. Now let me debug the same and show you. So see here, this first line still remains the same, right? How I'm getting the group data. So now coming to this point, now my ultimate requirement here was to get the total distance. So rather than doing loop add group, assigning field symbol and so on and making it look like nested loops, make use of the reduce operator to make it fast enough. So now what I did, reduce data type was already declared, I used hash. My syntax remains the same as yesterday. The only addition is for work area in like rather than providing an internal table here, for work area and internal table, I provide the for work area in group and then the group name. Just this syntax changes and then it remains the same. Next, I equals to I plus whatever implicit work area or field symbol, whatever it is, and then the component name. So now I do an F5, I get the data. See here, the total distance if you want to see. it will give you the entire total distance at one go. So you don't have to make use of the inner nested loop to do all these things. So rather than doing this, now you go to this. If you want to make it furthermore faster, let me show you one more way. Now, rather than using this loop and all, what I'll do, I'll club with 4 operators: value operator, for operator, group by operator, along with a concept called group size. So then my requirement is that I want to get the career ID details, suppose the group career ID, the number of count of records, there it is under that particular group, and the total distance with respect to that career ID. Understood? This is my requirement. So I'll once again repeat, my requirement is Miro, I didn't get you. What detail line is missing? Mirko? Line number 400, we have commented this line. But this is commented, Mirko. We are not using this. Detail line I don't want to print, I just want to get the summation. I don't want to print the detail line. Is it fine? No. Now, just understand the requirement. Now my requirement is that I want the grouped career ID as the internal table should contain 3 columns. The grouped career ID detail, the count of records in that group as in the count, and the total distance with respect to that career ID. Okay, 1, 2. Is it fine now? Suresh, is it clear? Are you able to see the screen properly? Okay. So first of all, tell me whether you have understood the requirement. The requirement is that there should be 3 columns in an internal table. I want the grouped career ID, the count of those records in that career ID, and the total distance. This is my requirement. Is it clear to all? What is my requirement and how we want to achieve it? We will discuss now. But what is the requirement? So now, let us what all operators I'll make use of. First, let me show you that. I'll make use of value operator, for operator, group by operator, along with group size operator, and reduce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's see how it will do. First, let me declare a table type so that we are done with what data we want. So types begin of UI underscore data, then I want carrier ID, type SPFLI, career ID, comma, I want the count, right? So count type I, comma, total distance I need. So total underscore distance type SPFLI, fine, end of, and UI underscore data. And let me declare a table type which will be type standard table of UI underscore data with key, because here once I'm grouping the data, my char ID will start becoming unique, right? So with key char ID. Now what we will do is we will use an inline declaration data LT underscore final underscore data, which is my final output. I want to make use of the value operator tt underscore data, open braces, close braces, full stop. Now let's start. How do we start? First of all, for operator. Here also for groups we have to specify. For groups, okay. For groups, what is the group name that we have given or we want to give? Example, I want to give the group name, suppose as group 1, okay. For groups, group 1 of, now use an implicitly declared work area. So WA underscore SPFLI1 in, like how we used to do for work area in internal table, right? So LT underscore SPFLI, because I have used the internal table LT underscore SPFLI. Now after that, what I'll do, I will group by. Now my group by will be on the basis of career ID equals to WA underscore SPFLI1, because I have used 1 here, and my career ID. And apart from that, I also want to do the count. So I will make use of something called count equals to group size. Now count equals to group size will give me the count on the basis of this group. Now after what let me further, whatever components I want to pass. So career ID will be equals to, I will get it from the group, right? So group 1 career ID. Count I will get it from count equals to, I'll get it from the group by, I'm doing on the basis of career ID and count. So similarly, like how I got my career ID from group 1 on the basis of this grouping, similarly I'll get the count also from my basis of this grouping. So group 1 and see count. Now for the total distance, I will make use of the reduce operator. Similarly that we did. Reduce operator, initialize init I type SPFLI distance for work area in, I have to specify in group, then your, what is my group name? Group 1, right? So in group 1, then next I equals to I plus LWA, because I have specified it here, and I'll add the distance here. Done. Now this is my this line closure of this reduce. This is the closure of this, and this is the closure of this for operator. Done. Now CL underscore demo underscore, let me use the demo class for showing you the output. CL underscore demo underscore output, display, shift and enter, uncomment this. Data here you pass as LT underscore final underscore data, and here the name that you pass is using group by with value for and reduce. Now let me show you the output. Which one, Satish, you are telling SPFLI 1? See the output here. See the output here. Career ID, all the unique career IDs, the count with respect to that group as in the count of lines and the total distance. Can you see what I did and how many lines of code did I write? I've just clubbed everything into one go. See here. This was, I started with this, right? Earlier way. I came to this, right? Group operator. Then I came to here, right? Reduce operator. Now I came to here. Now guys tell me how we achieve the requirement by, as I told you, I'll club everything. Value for group by group size reduce. I clubbed everything. Yes, group size provides the group count. Now guys tell me one thing. Now can you just see the difference from where we started and now where are we? Just within 1 hour, this is the piece of code to achieve my final requirement. So Mirko, Aldo, Satish and all, just tell me this piece of code and what we started with and this. If you want now you can do a runtime performance later on and see this piece of code with any other piece of code and try to compare. Increase the load with few numbers, your sales order number, whatever combination you have, GRN numbers with line item and all, whatever combination you have, you see the load. Pass around 1,000, 50,000, 1 lakh records and see the difference. This grouping, char ID, quantity. Many times we get such requirements that we have to show the output to the functionals that what is the entire count of record with respect to that group combination and the total summation or something. Okay. So Ankit, see here what we did. First of all, this is my internal table. I have declared a table type. Can you see here? I have declared a table type because my requirement was that I wanted to display the unique carrier IDs, the count of records with respect to that group and the total distance, because this is my measure here, right? I want to find the total distance. So how do I achieve the requirement? First and foremost for groups, because I have to first specify the group, right? To do the summation. For groups, group 1. See, normally when we used to use the for operator for work area, that is implicitly declared in internal table and then where condition, and this line goes out of picture and this line goes out of picture, right? So here, now suppose what I'm telling is here for groups I have to specify because I want to group it in a group. So for groups, the group name whatever you want to give. I see there is no declaration I have done anything. Whether you want to use a work area or a field symbol, anything you can do. For groups, group 1, fine. Then I have group by on the basis of career ID because I have to find the unique thing. Then here I wanted the count also, right? Just use this statement, count equals to group size. This will give you the entire count. The entire group size it will give you. Count equals to group size. Now, what are my components? Career ID, count and total distance. So career ID I'll pass from this group as the career ID. Here from the count I will pass group 1 and already I have specified the count here. So career ID and count will come from my group. Now for this total distance, for this with respect to this group I have to get the summation, right? So I use the reduce operator, initialization I, type this remains the same, up to this part remains the same. For implicitly declared work area in internal table we used to give, rather than giving the internal table, we have to use the group. In group, the group name and then this remains the same. So the change is here only, that we have to specify in group, and here only, that's it. The rest all remains the same. This gives me the count, this gives me the summation, and our code is done and we get the output. So is it clear how we have used the new syntax? Group size, Danny, is basically for getting the count. I want the count with respect to that group, right? Suppose if you see here, okay, if you want to specify one thing, if you want to specify ascending here, you can specify ascending here. If you want to specify, just to be on the safe side. Normally what we do is, normal, first and foremost, one thing please keep in your mind, with S4HANA coming into picture, don't try to sort the data by getting the data in your application server. Try to sort the data while getting it from the database layer only. So what I mean is, here I am getting the data, right? Just add here order by primary key. Done. You will get the data in your ascending order. By default it's ascending, right? Order by primary key, just add it. The data comes in ascending. Now then this doesn't make sense. My data is already in ascending. If you have forgotten to add order by primary key or you are not sorting the data, then you add ascending. Try to get the data, try to put the load more on the database. So see, one thing you would have observed during these 4 days, I'm also trying to cover up ABAP OpenSQL. I'm giving you input. So what I'm telling is, with S4HANA coming into picture, if you people have S4HANA system in your organizations, try to put the load more on the database. HANA as a database is there for you to do all these things. You don't try to put the load on the app server. Try to enhance your performance. Put all the load on your database. And let's see from where we started and where we reached. So my ultimate goal was, if I would have wrote this at the starting, you would have understood. But my ultimate goal was to show you how to go from the old to new to newest to the most newest. This one, latest one. So is it clear? Is this requirement clear, like how we achieved by using the groups and the reduce operator? Okay, fine then. So so example, suppose let me give you a class assignment. So what all do you need to do now? Same thing. What I want you to do is that I don't want the entire group data with all the respect to all the career IDs. As in, what I mean is, if I just do Control and F3. So the requirement for you is very simple. Requirement is that you are seeing so many career IDs, right? I want you to show me the output only with respect to the career ID, AA and your LH. AA and LH. I want the output, the final internal table should give me the output only with respect to AA and LH. AA and LH. So you have to just repeat the same thing, but I'll not tell you, already know that how to handle it. So what you need to do is, rather than giving the entire output, I want you to further filter the data by, and I want to show the output of only the two career IDs, that is AA and LH. So I give you 5 minutes. Will it do? Will 5 minutes do for you? Hello? 5 minutes will do, right? It's very simple, right? You know how to do it. So 8:28, 8:32, 4 minutes, fine. Please try on. And show me the output. Post your answers as the snapshot, paste it here in the chat. Whoever does it faster. I want the output only with respect to AA and JH. Only two career IDs, not the others. Please do it fast. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll minimize all. Now this is fine, right, for everyone? The entire screen comes. Stephanie, you can unmute yourself. We can have a discussion. So you are feeling that this is not very easy to use, right? Stephanie, are you there? Unmute yourself and we can have a discussion. You tell me, like, where are you facing the difficulty in understanding this? If you want, we can have a discussion for 1-2 minutes till the people are practicing. Stephanie, you can unmute and speak up. I have unmuted you all. You can unmute and speak up. Hello? Yes, Stephanie, you are right. It just needs practice, nothing else. See, if you ask me, when we started, they showed us this only, okay. But then I reached to this. So it was just like I kept on exploring and I finally came to this. You will not find this anywhere. I just kept on combining everything and just got it here. That's it. Yeah, A or LH. Yeah, right. You just have to give a where condition here. Just give a where condition here. Anybody who has got the output, can you just post the output? If anybody has got the output. Just add a where condition here and nothing here. Here just put where career ID equals to, just like you used to do your normal for operator. So AA or career ID equals to what it was, LH, I think, right? LH only I gave. Yeah, Aldo, you are right. Just you write this syntaxes 2-3 times, no, and it will be very easy. Initially, it looks that it is not easy. Once you practice 2, 3, 4 times and you start making, see, the main thing is that you have to start making its use in your day-to-day work. The more you start using it, the more you will come to know the complexities, the more you will come to know about your syntax issues, everything. Am I right, Aldo? Sunil, just tell me one thing, where char ID in A and LH do we use in OpenSQL or do we use in normal ABAP processing statements? Just tell me yes or no. Yes. So if I write it here, you want to see what will happen. In, you want me to write A, comma, LH. Okay. And I put it here. See here. Comma without preceding colon after data. Can you see? So it will give you errors. It will not take. So just a second. So now coming back to the PPT, this is what my syntax, as I told you. Loop at iTab, initially we started with this syntax, right? Loop at internal table into work area or field symbol, where condition is optional. Group by, then the group name. Group by will be used along with the unique key in the expression, right? And into your work area or field symbol and the group name. So now coming forward to your, this will also be understood, like how can we use reduce operator along with the group, and we can avoid the inner loop and group in this way. And similarly, by making use of for, value and the group by along with the reduce and all, we understood how can we build a table by making use of all these 3-4 operators. Fine. So till now, up to this point, it's clear to all, right? We can move further. Can we move further? So whoever we're practicing, is it done? Fine. So now let's proceed forward to your famous corresponding operator. So earlier you people always, not you only, everyone we always used to use that move corresponding, right? So now rather than move corresponding, there's something called the corresponding operator, which will do your work in the same way, but there are a lot of variants to it. So basically your syntax is target equals to corresponding, either the type that we want to specify, or if it is already specified, then hash and then the source here. This is my basic syntax. So now let me show you. Just let us comment up to this point. So corresponding operator. So types begin of line 1. So column 1, type I, column 2, type I, and end of line 1. Now what I'll do, I'll just begin of line 2 and I'll column 3, type I, and end of line 2, and C equal to line 3, end of line 3, and column 1 and column 2. So data ls underscore line 1, that is the structure 1, value line 1, column 1 equals to 1 and column 2 equals to 2. This is I populated the data to the structure. Now what I will do is I want to populate to the other structure, which is of ls line 3, and it will be of type your line 3. So what I told, use the corresponding operator, then the type is not specified here, right? I'm using an inline declaration. So it will be of type line 3, open braces, close braces, and put the source name ls underscore line 1. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to pass the data of ls underscore line 1 to ls underscore line 3 by making use of the corresponding operator, and we specified the type here. So this ls underscore line 3 will be of type line 3, and the data from ls underscore line 1 will be moved to ls underscore line 3. So if I just want to show you both the outputs, so write structure 1 equals to color 5, 15 ls underscore line 1, column 1, and ls underscore line 1, column 2. This was my first structure, right? Now let me Control C, Control V. This was my third structure which I created on the basis of line 3 and ls underscore line 3 and ls underscore line 3. Now let me show you the output. F1, Control F1, Control F3. So see here, just corresponding structure 1, both 1 and 2 got copied to the structure 3 and now both are having the similar values. Now let's move further. Now suppose what I'll do, I'll try to build one more structure. Now the components will not be matching, as in one structure will have some other values and the other structure will have some other values. So first let me populate the data for ls underscore line 2, which is referring to ls underscore line 2 equals to value line 2. I'll pass the value. So what I'll do, column 1 let me pass as 4, column 2 let me pass as 5, and column 3 let me pass as 6. Fine. Now what I'll do, I'll just put it in the similar lines. Write structure 2, color 515, ls line 2, column 1, ls line 2, column 2, and okay, and ls underscore line 2, column 3. So now what I'll do, I'll try what will be my requirement now. I want to pass the content of ls underscore line 1 to ls underscore line 2, and let me show you how will the behavior be. So ls underscore line 2 equals to corresponding operator. Now here I don't have to specify the data type because ls underscore line 2 is already known because we know it here. So ls underscore line 2 equals to corresponding hash. Now my source is that I want to transfer the contents from ls underscore line 1 to ls underscore line 2. Okay. So now let me show you what will be the impact will be. So it will be ls underscore line 2, column 1, ls underscore line 2, column 2, and ls underscore line 3, sorry, not line 3, line 2, column 3. Now guys, tell me one thing. ls underscore line 2 has got 3 components, column 1, column 2, column 3. And ls underscore line 1 has got 2 components. Now just answer me one thing. When I am transferring the source ls underscore line 1 to this target, which is having 2 and 3 components, what will be my output? Tell me. Before we see the output, tell me what will be the behavior of this. So you are telling it will be 1, 2 and 6, right? Because earlier it had value 4, 5 and 6. You are telling 1, 2 and 6, right? Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just add it properly to the output so that it will be clear for all. So I'll copy this here. I'll put it here, corresponding hash line 1, and after that what I'll do here, put a comma at line number position number 40, and I'll show you the output. So you people are telling that somebody is telling 1, 2 and 6, wrong output as the fields are not moved in order. 1 and 2. Okay, let me show you the output. What will basically happen? See here what it will be. It will be 1, 2 and 0. Now the first answer that the person gave, Mirko, tell one thing. I am trying to pass structure 2, which is having 4, 5, 6 already, right? Now I'm trying to overwrite into this from the values from structure 1. This has the components column 1 and column 2. This is the components column 1, 2 and 3. When we normally do move corresponding, what will happen? Whatever corresponding column name it matches, it will pass and the others it will initialize, right? Right, Mirko? So similarly, on the same lines, corresponding operator also, whenever the component name matches, it will map the values. If it doesn't match, it will be initialized. So on the same concept, it will be 4 will be replaced with 1, 5 will be replaced with 2, and there was no matching for this. This will be replaced with 0. So Naren, wrong output, I did not get you. Not an issue. So with the corresponding operator, if the component name matches, it will be same to same. If the component name doesn't match, you need to make sure that whatever the component name will match, it will be overwritten, and the component name which will not match, it will be initialized. Understood? It will be initialized. Now suppose what I want, my requirement is that when I am transferring the contents, I want to save that 6. This value should not be overwritten. Only the matching columns should be overwritten, and the other components which it doesn't find, that should not be initialized if this is my requirement. So how do I do the same? So let me again restore the values of ls underscore line 2. Okay. I'll just remove this data. I have restored the values. Now ls underscore line 2 equals to, I want to transfer the data from ls underscore line 1 as my source. So corresponding hash, right? I don't have to specify any type here. Corresponding hash, make use of a thing called the base operator. Now after the base operator, put a space, open bracket, close bracket. I want to protect my values of ls underscore line 2. So inside the base, I want to protect my values of ls underscore line 2. And the source that I want to transfer is ls underscore line 1. That's it. Now, let me show you the output. Now here, I'll just copy paste this line. I'll put it here. I'll make this rather than 40, I'll make it as 50. Fine. And now, okay. Now, guys, can you tell me what will be the output now? If you can guess. Mirko, Naren, Satish, Vimla, Sudha, anyone? What will be the output of this line? Yes, because I already told it, right? That's why. So, not an issue. So now see, oh my God. So it is not able to accommodate in 50. Should I make it 55? Let's make it 55. See here, 1, 2 and 6. So ls underscore line 2 corresponding hash base ls underscore line 2 ls underscore line 1. So what happened? Base when I gave, it will protect those values if I want to not overwrite or initialize, as in overwritten, it will be only those components which will match. So column 1 matched, column 1 matched. So 4 will be written with 1. Column 2 matched. So 5 will be overwritten with 2. Now this 6 doesn't have anything to match, right? But if I don't keep base, it was getting initialized at 0. But I don't want to get it initialized at 0. So I want to save the values. So that's why I use this base. It is very handy. Suppose when you are trying to build a work area, okay, example, Your requirement is that you have used a select query and you are trying to populate some values into a work structure. Okay. Now some of the values of that structure needs to be mapped to another structure. Suppose this is the requirement. So if you use this, remember your entire structure, whatever components will not match, it will be initialized. And if you ultimately append that internal table, and if that internal table is going to overwrite a database table, your database table will be gone for a toss. It will completely go for a toss because your data will be initialized. So remember that this statement is very handy. You have to protect the existing values. You have to also pass on the new values. So corresponding hash base. Please remember this thing will come very handy in your requirements. You are getting the data from an internal table into a work area. You already have an existing internal table which you are doing loop and internal table assigning field symbol. Now you want to modify that particular structure by appending some new records from the structure. Just use this statement, modify the data, your database will get modified and your data will be protected. Is it clear how to use this corresponding hash base and how you can use it practically? Guys, is it clear? And remember, don't use this directly. It will make your data scenario worse. Don't use this directly. If you are trying to update a database table from work area, please remember, don't use this directly. Okay, now moving to the next variant now. So now this was how you can save the things. Okay, now there is also something called mapping. So mapping will be very much useful when you want to move a column values into a similar type of column but with different name. So to again repeat, mapping will be very much useful when you want to move a column value into a similar column type but the name will be different. So in one line, mapping allows you to map the fields with non-identically named components which qualifies for the data transfer. So I'll just write it same here. Mapping allows you to map fields with non-identically named components to which qualify for data transfer. So what I mean is, let me show you through a scenario. Let me just restore back ls line 2. Now what I want to do is, I want to, when I am mapping ls line 1 from ls line 2, rather than mapping column 2 to column 2, see here, my column 3 is also of type I and column 2 is also of type I. Now my requirement is that I want to map the value of this column 2 to column 3. I don't want to map, I want to map it from column 2 to column 3. So my data type of both these columns is same, right? But my names are non-identical. So non-identically named components which qualifies for data transfer. So what I'll do here now is ls underscore line 2 equals to corresponding operator hash, and now in corresponding hash source is ls underscore line 1. Use mapping. I want to map column 3 of ls underscore line 2 with column 2 of ls underscore line 1. This is my requirement. Now let me show you the output. Better to make it 60. So now if I execute the same, See here. So what happened? 4 got overwritten with 1, 5 got overwritten with 2. Now, if I would not have given anything, it would have initialized, right? If I just add mapping, what it did, rather than initializing it, it mapped column 3 with column 2. So, practical scenario, whenever suppose internal table you have got a data, now what you are doing, that internal table, the column names that it has, it is different, right? Suppose you are getting the data from some different internal database table, and there is one more internal table or suppose a work area. Now you want to transfer the values, but the data types are same, but my column names are different. So then this will be very powerful. This will be very powerful. Just do corresponding hash this, mapping this and this, rather than writing loop at this work area 1 column name equals to work area 2 something different column name, work area 1 column name equals to something different column name. No need of writing those 5-6 lines of statement. Just use this, the work will be done for you. Just write mapping, keep on mapping it, mapping column 3, column 2, column 4 equals to column 5, column 6 equals to column 8 and so on. Just keep on adding here. No comma, nothing, just column 3. After that, if you want to map, just column, whatever column names you want to give and the column names of this, that's it. This line will do the needful for you. No need to do it. So in this way you can map non-identically named components. Now there is something called except also as a variant where you can add to this mapping. Suppose while I was mapping here, if you see the output, what happened? If you see the output, what happened? This 2 is also getting mapped to 2. Suppose now my requirement is I don't want this column 2 to get mapped. I want this column 3 to get mapped with column 2, but I don't want to get this column 2 get mapped. Suppose I don't want to get this column 2 get mapped. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll just add here. Let me just. So mapping column 3 equals to column 2, add and except column 2. So now let me show you the output. Let me make it to 65. And wait. See here, 1, 0, 2. What happened? 1 got overwritten. Sorry, 4 got overwritten with 1 because this is my source, this is my target. In 5, what happened? I did not wanted to map anything. So what happened? This 2 did not come and get mapped here. So what happened? This basically got initialized. This got as 0. This got initialized. And this column 3, I wanted to map with column 2. So this game has 2 here. So one very important point is that you can use except as a sole feature also. As in, if I don't give mapping column 3 equals to column 2, and if I give just except column 2. So I'll just show you. I don't give this mapping. I just give except equals to column 2 and here and I make it back 60. Control and F3, Control and F. Now let me execute the same. Now see the output. So what happened? It has got 3 components, 4, 5 and 6. 4 gets overwritten with 1. This 5, I don't want to map at all except column 2. So this doesn't get mapped, this gets initialized. And anyway, this did not have anything to map, this also gets initialized. So important point for you all is that mapping can be used alone, except can be used alone. Mapping and except can be used together as well. But if you want to use together, except will come only after mapping. It cannot come before mapping. So 3 points: corresponding hash base, and then if you want to use corresponding hash mapping, can come separately, except can come separately. If you want to use except and mapping together, except and mapping has to come together, but except will come only after mapping. Is this clear with all these variants? Yes, you can use mapping and base together. Why not? If you want to pass the non-identically named components, see, base, I'll show you that also. We are just understanding the basic concepts. So if you want to map the non-identically named components after protecting the data, here ls underscore line 1, after that add mapping, your add mapping whatever non-identically named components, that's it. Am I audible or there is any audio issues? So Ankit, I think there is some issue from your end. So till this point, is it clear? Till this point, initial basic concept of corresponding hash base, then corresponding hash mapping, corresponding hash except, and mapping and except together. So now just, yeah, obviously except will initialize the component. Similarly, see, move corresponding, whenever it doesn't find anything, it initializes the component, right, Aldo? Whenever it doesn't find anything, it initializes the component. So on the same lines, this corresponding operator has been built. So in except, when you don't want to map anything, the value will get initialized. Yes, that also I'll show you. Now after this was structure which I was showing you, Satish, that is also possible. I'll show you now how to do that. Can we have 1-2 minutes of break? Let's have 2 minutes of break and then we start again. Should we start? Okay. So base, if we add this base just before an internal table, it will append the records. So let me show you. Okay, types. So types ty underscore, sorry, I'll just create a table type pt underscore days type table of string with empty key. Fine. Now let me just comment up these all lines so that okay. So now let me create an internal table LT underscore days, and let me pass the values as TT underscore days, open brackets, open braces, close braces. Then I want to have pass the days as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, so this is my internal. Why it is throwing me an error? MO and the root type entities are incompatible. Why? I have given a comma. No, comma will not be required. This is my internal table. Value of this table types, which is type standard. Okay, sorry. Fine. Done. Yeah, rather than that I used this operator, apostrophe operator. Okay, fine. So this is my internal table. So now suppose if I want to add further append rows to this table which is already having the 3 records. Okay, so how do we do this? LT underscore days equals to value hash, because I want to populate the data, right? Value hash, and I also want to save the existing data. So base LT underscore days. Now after LT underscore days, now let me pass the value Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On the similar lines, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's it. Control F2, Control F3, and let us put a debugger here. Rather than displaying, I just show you through the debugger. So this is my LT underscore days, which is having Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I do an F5 now, oh shit. So let me activate the same. And now let me show you again. So LT underscore days is this. F5, see here. All the other rows got appended. So just we have to use base and this whatever value you had. Similarly as we did there. And then whatever values you want to append. In this way you can append the values to an existing internal table. Now let me come out of the debugger. Now let me show you the scenarios when we take into picture internal table rather than your work area. So how do we make use of the corresponding operator on your internal table? So initial behavior will be same. So let me first declare the types. Types begin of ty underscore type 1, field 1, field 1 type I, end of ty underscore type 1, then dt underscore type 1, type standard table of ty underscore type 1 with empty key, then begin of, let me create another type ty underscore type 2. Here I will have two fields, field 1 type I and field 2 type I, and end of ty underscore type 2 and dt underscore type 2 type standard table of ty underscore type 2 with empty key. Fine. Now let me just fill up the internal table. So I have one internal table, data lt underscore type 1 equals to value tt underscore type 1 open parenthesis close parenthesis, and let I have two records. I'll have two records in this, that is field 1 equals to 1 and field 2 equals to 2. So field 1 equals to 1 and I'll just copy paste the same, and field 1 equals to 2. Now in another internal table, data lt underscore type 2 equals to value operator tt underscore type 2 open braces close. Now here we have field 1 and field 2, right? So what we will do, we will have three records with this structure. So field 1 will pass it as 3, field 2 we will pass it as 4. Now Control C, V, and 3 records. So 3, 4. Now what I'll do, I'll pass it 5, I'll make it 6, make it 7, and make it 8. Fine. Okay, so my data is ready. So earlier we used to do move corresponding. Suppose if I want to pass the data from your this LT type 1 to LT type 2. So what do we used to do? We used to write move corresponding LT underscore type 1 to LT underscore type 2, right? So now if I just want to see the output of this, let me just use this real-time output display. And now here if I use LT underscore type 2 and here so if I execute the output, what will happen? 1 and 0, 2 and 0, right? Because this had 1 and 2, field 1 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It had 2 records, it had 3 records. So when I'm trying to map it through move corresponding, 3 will get overwritten with 1 and there is no field, it will be 0. So if I want to do the same thing rather than move corresponding, what will I do? I want to pass LT underscore type 2, right? So in LT underscore type 2, what will I do? I'll do corresponding hash, right? So instead of move corresponding, I'll do corresponding hash. Am I right or am I wrong? Instead of move corresponding, what will you do? If you want to replace this, yeah. So corresponding hash LT underscore type 1 and just put a full stop. Let me comment this line. So LT underscore type 2, LT underscore type 1. So shift and F1, control and F2, control and F3, and let me execute the same. See here, same output 1020 and field 20. So whatever as similar to the structure, whatever record type it will match, it will go and map the same. Whatever it will not match, it will initialize. Since there was no such, there were only 2 records to this, there was no third record. It went and mapped field 1 and 2, field 2 became 0, and since there was no third record, this became completely blank. Okay, now suppose earlier suppose if you want to save the existing data, okay, so what you can do is move corresponding LT type 1 to LT type 2, keeping the target lines. So let me just comment this and make use of this. So LT type 1 to LT type 2, keeping the target lines. So now earlier if you used to do this, what used to happen, let me show you. That is keeping the target lines. So if I do F8 now, see here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, your existing data is retained, right? And the new records got appended 1 and 0, 2 and 0. Similarly, if I don't want to use the syntax now, that is keeping the target lines, I don't want to use this keeping the target lines. So what I have to do, rather than move corresponding keeping target lines, I have to make use of corresponding hash and base. So let me comment this. So LT underscore type 2, use this, make use of base as I told you, and you want to protect the data of your LT type 2, right? So whatever you want to protect. So LT underscore type 2, data production space, shift and F1, control and F2, control and F3. Will I get the same output as keeping target lines? Yes or no? Will I get the same output or not? If I use this syntax rather than this? Okay, so let's see. You all are so much confident. Should I get the same output? Yes, I get the same output. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 0 and 2, 0. So that the thing that you are asking me, if I want to protect the data, similar to structure, move use of base. But one difference in structure, since it's a single record, there will be no such like data addition or something. That same record will keep on manipulating. But in the internal table, just remember, it will go and append the records. Okay, how it used to go and append the records? Similarly, in your internal table, it will go and append the records. Whatever data it will match, it will go and map the same. Whatever it will not match, it will initialize. Understood? Till this point, is it clear, guys? Now, how we used corresponding base and your mapping and accept here. Similarly, here also you can map the same. So suppose, now what is happening, like let me take a further deep dive internal table and let me pass some different values to it. So let me create one more internal table here. Begin of ty underscore type 3, and let me have two fields of different names like field 1 and field 3. End of ty underscore type 3 and tt underscore type 3 type standard table of ty underscore type 3 with empty key. Stop. Now here what I'll do, lt underscore type 3, I'll pass the value tt underscore type 3 and open braces, close braces. Inside this I will pass the value. So what I will do, I'll pass, similarly I'll have 3 records also here. So field 1 equals to suppose 33, field 3 equals to suppose 30. So let me make it, just I'll make one change here, 35 and 37. Okay, so I have one more now. So what I want to do is I want to map the data from this LT type 3 and I want to move the data from LT type 2 to LT type 3. So let me just comment this for the timing. So LT type 2 data I want to move to LT underscore type 3. Okay, so LT underscore type 3 equals to corresponding hash, open braces, close braces. Now I also want to protect the data. So base LT underscore type 3. Now after base is done, I want to move the data from LT underscore type 2. Now while moving the data of LT underscore type 2, remember in LT underscore type 2 it is field 1 and field 2, but here it is field 3. So while moving, what I want to do, field 1 will get mapped with field 1, right? But field 3 will not get mapped. So while transferring, I want to map field 3 to field 2. So mapping field 3 equals to field 2. That's it. Done. Now let me show you the output. Let me make it LT type 3, shift and F1, control F2, control F3. Now tell me then what will be the output now? Guys, can you guess what will be the output? What will happen? Will there be any initialized values? Will there be any values as 0? Any value will come as 0 after we execute this statement? No, right? You all are confident, right? There will be no such 0 value, right? Okay, then let me show you the output. Yes, there will be no such 0 value because I have done the mapping. This, even if this would have initialized, this I have done the mapping that field 3 should be mapped with field 2. So in the same way, like how we had done for structure, similarly in the internal table, we can make use of mapping here to map the values. Now, suppose if I just want to map field 3 equals to field 2 and I don't want to map the others. So except asterisk. Now just if I add this statement, so what will happen if I use except asterisk? Can you tell me what will be the output of this? What will be the output of this? If I just use except asterisk, any guesses? What will be the output of this? Field 1 equal to 0. One answer from Stephanie. Any other answers? Any other inputs from others? So let me show you. Let's see whether you people are right or wrong. So when I do except equals to asterisk, yes, only this will be mapped and this will not be mapped. Right. Right, Stephanie. So there's all fields will not be this thing mapped. You are wrong. See, always understand mapping is given the first priority, right? I am doing the mapping. This will take care of my mapping. Except asterisk, even though if I give asterisk here, it will not be like that all the fields will be initialized, because my mapping will be taking the first priority, then my except, because what I told, except will come only after mapping. Understood, Suresh? Is it clear? Okay. So if I use except asterisk, though I have given asterisk, it will not that all the fields will be initialized. Only the field which is not, I am not mapping it explicitly here, that will not be mapped. Otherwise, rest all will be mapped. So, so here somebody was asking me if I can use corresponding base mapping except together. See, I have used all. I have used everything together. So now you understood the scenario. If I want to use everything together, I want to protect the values also, I want to map it also, and I don't want to map something also. In this way, you will be able to handle all the things. If you want, Jasmine, if you want to pass a new value, see whatever values I'm passing, I've built an internal table and then I'm mapping, right? Or I'm mapping from the help of a work area, when work area to work area mapping. So whatever new values you want to pass, you put it in a work area or internal table, and same to same mapping. The source and target should be of the same time. It cannot be like that you are trying to map a internal table with a work area or something. So put those new values into an internal table or a work area and then do the mapping from the source to the target. Is it clear, Jasmine? Yeah. Whenever you are building the new internal table, you are free to populate any value here, right? Whatever you are free to do anything with this. Then you will pass it here. One thing that you need to understand, while using corresponding hash or these things, you cannot hard code anything here. You please need to keep in mind. You cannot hard code anything here while doing corresponding. If you want to hard code anything, get the values populated here and then do the mapping. You cannot do any hard coding while during runtime corresponding hash mapping. Is it clear to everyone? No hard coding allowed during runtime corresponding hash mapping. It has to be done prior to that. Whatever you are building, work area or internal table from ABAP OpenSQL or whatever it is, you have to do it prior to that. No hard coding. It will give you an error. So I am telling you from my real-time experience, it is not allowed. I have tried the same, that doesn't allow. It will throw you an error. I'll show you also. See here. No component exists with the name used. It always looks for a component. That is the only reason. Clear, participants? Is it clear to everyone? Merko, Satish, Shudha, everyone, right? So now coming back to the PPT, this is what I told, that corresponding with the usage of base while transferring the values from the source to the target. If you want to use the existing contents of a target and you want to override only the matching components, then make use of the base. And even as I showed you, if you add base just before an internal table, it will also help you to append the data to your internal table. And the further variations that we had, we saw that if you want to map different names of the components, use mapping. If you want to exclude something, use except. And mapping can accept, you can use it separately or together, but except has to come after mapping only. Yes, Stephanie, start practicing corresponding hash. This is more powerful. And even if you, when you are trying to map a lot of records, you will see a runtime analysis difference between move corresponding and corresponding hash. Start practicing corresponding hash. Why, moreover, I am telling you, just tell me one thing. Whenever we wanted to map loop at and then into work area, map from the other area, we used to write a lot of lines for mapping this name to that name to that, this name, except and all. In one line, you can do all these things. No need of doing all those. So this is like multi-purpose useful, not only with respect to move corresponding, with respect to all the scenarios, whenever you want to do any kind of data mapping and data transfer. Is it clear? Stephanie, I hope it answers your question. Fine then. Now, coming to the last topic of the day, ABAP OpenSQL. Though I have been doing this, if you would have observed me during these last 4 days, don't you think I have been writing the select query in this way? Select from database table either fields asterisk or I am specifying the fields, then the where condition and then into table. If you would have observed me, I do write the syntaxes in this way. Have you observed me? So this syntax where you are using into clause at the end and making use of the comma separated fields, and by making use of the escape host variable, this is the new syntax of your modern ABAP OpenSQL. So what the thing is that this comes with much more stricter syntax check. Example, while writing the query, here I'll show you through this. Example, if I remove this comma here, no, see here, this has got a lot of stricter syntax check. It will not allow you only. If I remove this at the rate here, see here, it will not allow you only. It will show you that you have to use at the rate escape host variables. So this has become a lot more stricter. So remember that okay, if you ask me what advantage do you get? Advantage as in terms of that, see, ultimately you know that what you are putting into your internal table or work area and it will be at the end. The advantage that you get here is, while I am writing the fields, if I used to write select field 1 comma field 2, there I don't know which fields I want to select. I always used to go to S11 and I used to refer to S16 and I used to get the field names and write. Right now, while writing, see here, distance I don't know, right? If I just pass distance and I do control and space, it assists me with respect to whatever fields this table is having. That is the biggest advantage. Now, example, I don't know any field. Example, I don't know any field. Put a control space, you get all the fields here. This is the advantage that you are getting. All the fields are in front of you. That is the advantage that you are getting through writing in this new syntax style. So, second point, that the biggest advantage that you get with ABAP OpenSQL nowadays is that you can use a lot of inbuilt functions and feasibilities which were not there earlier. So from 7.4 and 7.5 onwards, the time in SAP came up with CDS and ANDP and all those things. Same time, SAP also tried to renovate its ABAP OpenSQL so that you can, rather than always going for code push down, you can also resolve a lot of your requirements with the help of your ABAP OpenSQL. So you can make use of numeric functions along with your select queries. You can make use of your string functions. You can make use of the date and time functions, and you can also make use of case, expression, and cast. So I will show you one scenario, like how do we make use of the string functions. So select single from, there is a table for just practice purpose called demo expressions, fields. What I'll do is char1 as text1. First let me write the entire select query. Then I'll show you the output what I basically want to do. char2 as text2. I'll use concat operator char1 comma char2 as concat, then your in string instr operator. So in instr char1 comma and the position I'll specify as instr, then left in left char1 comma 3 as left, then length. So with respect to length, I need the length of char1, then lower. With lower, what I want to do is I will want to do char2 as lower, yes, I can nest the functions and also in ABAP SQL. First, let me show you this so that this can be your one-point reference. Whenever you want to stuck with what this does or this does or this does, no. I just want to give you a one-point reference. You just refer to this and all your queries will be resolved. So just let me finish up this part first. Lower. Then I want to do an lpad. So lpad char1 comma length and what I want to pad up with. So suppose I want to pad up with small x. Lpad, then your ltrim. I want to ltrim suppose char1 and whatever leading space if any. Ltrim, then I want to replace. So in replace char1 I want to replace. I know that there is something called 1 and 2 in my characters there, and I want to replace it with an underscore. Okay, as replace. Then similarly how I did left, I will do right. So right of char1 comma, from the right I need 3 characters, and as I did right, now I want to do rpad. For rpad, similarly as I did lpad, I want to make it the length as 10 and small x. And finally last 3 rtrim. So for rtrim, like how I did left trim, now for rtrim I want to remove 3 from the right side as rtrim, and substring, one of the very famously used. So char1 from the 3rd offset position I want to subtract 3 characters like how we do in native HANA SQL. And your upper, finally upper as we did lower, lower, similarly as upper into @data lt underscore result. Fine. Now cl underscore demo underscore output, then display and here I will pass LT underscore result. Okay, so let me control and F2 to check any errors. Let me, oh my god. This is the biggest problem with this system. Got activated. Now let me just comment this so that this doesn't interfere with the output. Let me reactivate the same. Okay, now let me show you the output. So see here, this was my text 1 space 0123. I put this text into that table. We can use it for any multiple purpose. So I have used this for this, showing you these results. So I have put these two values as blank 0123 and small a, capital A, small a, capital A. So when I concat both the same, what happens? This both gets concatenated. In string, so what did I do? In string, this position from the third. So this is 1, 2, 3. From the this position. If you see the see here in string char 1, and I want the position. So what it basically returns, it returns the position of this character 1, and it gives the integer data as an output. This returns the position of character 1 with respect to this 1 in this character expression. So what I mean is, so this is my 1, 2, 3 at the third position, right? So in string becomes very handy when you want to know the position of any character in your variable or whatever it is, and you want to get the position in the integer type. INSTR basically returns the position of that character. So 1, 2, 3, this 1 is at the third position. So 3 in terms of the integer data type is the output. Left, I did of this left and 3. So 1, 2, 3 from the third left, 0 space 0 and 1. Length of this is 5. When I did lower of this, completely lowercase. When I did LPAD of this, so what I did LPAD, char 1, 10, x, right? So this already is having length as 5. I did the entire new length that I need is 10. So 10, and the left side, the remaining position, the padding will be done with this 5x. 5 times it will be repeated. Ltrim when I did with respect to the leading spaces, the space is gone. Replace when I did 1 and 2 I needed to replace with 2 underscore, it has replaced. Right when I will do, so from the right side 3 characters 1, 2 and 3. RPAD similarly on the LPAD I have done, so similarly it will do the right padding. So space 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. I have specified that char 1, 10, x. So after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Similarly rtrim, while doing trimming I specified that I want to trim 3, so that has got trim. Substring 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. From the third position, this offset, I want to extract 3 more characters. So 1, 2 and 3, and finally upper. Is this clear? How to use all the string functions at one go? I have just showed this so that this can be a handy thing for you whenever you want to refer what does what. So the question that Aldo asked me, I can I can nest any of the string operators inside. Suppose example, I want to trim, then I want to concat, and then I want to LPAD. So first will be inner will be LTrim, then will be concat, and then will be LPAD. So in that same sequence, I can nest any of these string SQL functions. Guys, are you there? So So is this clear? First of all, this thing should be clear to everyone. This can be your one stop to refer. Refer this whenever you are in doubt. Mix whatever you feel like mixing. Refer, mix, refer, mix, refer, mix. That's it. Similarly, like I use this, you can play around and use numeric functions also here. So what I meant is I showed you all the string functions. Similarly, numeric functions you can also do. Ceil, floor, round, absolute, division, mod and division. Okay. One important thing is that in the numeric functions, if you see, there is something called division and division. So when you just divide, suppose if I divide 43 by 3, the answer will be 14, right? It will give me the integer value. Now in division, you can also specify the number of decimal places that you need. So if I give, it has to be the number that you want to divide 43, you want to divide with 3, 3, and the number of decimal places that you need, 43, 3, 2. It will give you the answer as 14.33. This is the difference between div and this is the difference between division. Now in the date and time functions, you have this days between. It will give you the dates, the difference in the days between the two dates. And dates, add days, if you want to add a particular days to a particular date, it will add the days and give you the output. Similarly, you can add the months as well. On the same lines, yesterday someone asked me if I can use case expression. Case and cast are very handy when it comes to ABAP OpenSQL because you can change the expressions with case, and if you want to convert from one data type to other data type, you can make use of cast. Okay, now I throw an open scenario to you. Suppose there is a requirement. Suppose what you need to do is you need to fetch the data from EKKO. Okay, suppose let's have a discussion. You need to fetch the data from EKKO. Okay, there are certain POs which you need to fetch from EKKO, and based on your document type, that is BUSART, based on document type BUSART, you need to provide a description. Suppose example, when it is NB, then it is standard PO. When it is ZSB, then service PO. Else I want to show as other PO. Along with that, there is a string value which you have passed as date. So I want to find that there is a PO creation date is there, AEDAT, right? So I want to find the difference in days between the PO creation date and the input date that you have passed as a string by making use of the date and time functions. And along with that also I want to get the current timestamp from the select query. So an open question to you, do you want to try this as a home assignment or a class assignment now, or should I unveil it? Just read this. Tell me how you want. You want to solve this ABAP SQL query, or should I unveil the mystery and should I show you the output as to how to achieve the same? So all of you want to try this assignment, right? I should not unveil this curtain, right? Should I unveil the mystery now or should I unveil the mystery in next class? Stephanie is telling to unveil. So let's have a discussion between all of you. So Stephanie, all are telling that they all want to try. Stephanie, what do you say? What about others? Yeah, I can unveil it in next class or I can unveil it now also. Let us do one thing. I'll just unveil it, but condition it that you all need to practice this as an assignment. Though I'll unveil it, you need to practice this as an assignment. And when I give the PPT, I will remove it. Is it okay? Is it okay? I'll unveil it so that you understand, and This will be an assignment for you. While giving the PPT, I'll remove this slide. Is it okay with all? To get a feel of how ABAP OpenSQL has evolved? Fine. So should I unveil it? You all are ready to see the query? Excited? I don't think your people are excited. Okay. See the query now. See the query. How I have written the query by using all functions only. See the query. Select from EKKO. I have made use of LTRIM. I have made use of case expression. I have made use of dates, days between. Do you see I have made use of CONP operator also here. I have made use of dates, add days. I have made use of the current timestamp function variable in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 things inside a select query to get a required output. So earlier you people used to do this all these things at your ABAP application server level, right? Am I right or am I wrong? You used to get the raw data and you used to do all the processing in your application server level, right? Now you don't need to do this. Start practicing this. Put the load on your HANA database. It wants the load. It wants to take the load. Put the load on that. It will do all this info for you. Apply the features that SAP is providing you. Use all the facilities. Get only the converted, manipulated output from your ABAP OpenSQL. Make your ABAP OpenSQL your friend, not just for getting data or doing all the manipulations as well. You can, Danny, I have just used this from EKKO to just show the header data. You can join it from EKPO as well, not an issue. See, our systems doesn't have that much data, right? So whatever data I had, I just manipulated to show you this type of scenario. Doesn't this look great? Where you can club everything and anything. I've used LTRIM, case, conversion operator here. One thing that whenever you are using anything with respect to application server, just you need to make use of escape host sequence variable. So here I have converted this. So at the rate, then this. And then I get the value and then I this with this. So though I have unveiled the curtain as you people wanted, please practice this as your homework assignment. Okay, please practice this. If you want to add anything to this, like join with EKKO, further make it. So basically, who is asking me this question? Dinesh. See here, when I start a case expression, the syntax is case. Whatever expressions you want to this, when this, then this, when this, then this, else this, end as PO doc type. End as PO doc type. Why I have used this? I wanted to use it as an alias. Rather than Basart, I wanted to use the alias as PO underscore doc underscore type. Here I have used as, right, as PO number, as created on. So I have used an alias here. Also, you can try out one thing. When you get this, then rather than making it a simple case expression, you can also try out nested case expressions. So when then again a case expression to get further value. So there can be multiple such scenarios. That's why I'm telling. Start making your ABAP OpenSQL and all these new features your friend. Just not to get the data. The HANA database wants all this load. Put the load in the HANA database. Get all your refined output here. Rather than doing all this in your application server level, put all this on your database layer load. Get the required manipulated output. Use it tightly as a field catalog on an ALB, OOPS ALB, whatever it is. You want to expose the data, whatever it is. Get the required output and just manipulate the output. That's it. No more further processing in your application server level. No more processing. Noor, you can explore the same. Just try to put if switch is allowing. Try to see if you can use switch. Because switch came as a replacement of the case in your ABAP, right? Just try. Fine then, should we discuss the assignment or you have any queries, then we can discuss the same and then move on to the assignment. Any queries with this thing or anything that we learned today? Any queries, guys? Yes, Satish, tell me. Yes and no, I did not get you. So you had a query, you did not have a query. So should we move on with the assignment? I did not get any responses. Stephanie, you want me to execute this in Eclipse? I will have to write the entire select query now. If you want, we can do that. Or do you want me to do it in the next class? Okay, let us do it now only, not an issue. So data LV underscore date, type string, value. Suppose I'll put today's date 2020-09-13. Okay. For knowingly I'm putting it as string. Okay. Select from EKQ fields, ltrim, fine. In ltrim, Evelyn, there is certain data where there are leading zeros are there. So I want to remove those leading zeros as PO underscore number, comma, ADT as created on, comma. Now what I want to do, case field is Bassart. So case Bassart, when the value will be NB, let me make it capital, then I want it the output as standard PO. When the value will be your ZSV, then I want the output as service PO, else I want the output as other PO, and end as, let me make it PO underscore dot type. Fine. Now what was the after that? What was the requirement? Dates, add days. Sorry. That's days between. So in the days between, I wanted to handle with ADAT, and I have to convert this to CONV. Okay. So I have to convert this to dash type. So LV underscore date and as difference in days, and that's 8 days. I will add the days. I want to add, suppose 10 days to this creation date as added underscore days. Okay. Then I want to use the timestamp function is there, which gives me the current timestamp. TSTMP underscore current UTC underscore timestamp. This gives your current timestamp as current timestamp where Evelyn in what I'll do, I'll just pick up the, I can't copy paste from here because this is a snapshot. So I'll take these few numbers, this thing, where Evelyn in 45123456, it was 123456 678 and 0 and 5, and it is 45123456 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just tell me, is the number count right? I'm not seeing the PPT. Just tell me, is the number count right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 0, 1. And other data was, I think, 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 500. Variable in this order by primary key into table @ data and here I will give the LT aging PO underscore PO details. Fine. And now put this Control and F2, Control and F3, and now let me show you the output. Here it is. Sitting. See here. So trim, because if I not have trimmed, it would show you 0. Trimming did this needful. The case expression did this needful. Difference in days did the needful. When I added 10 days, it added the 10 days to this, and I got the current timestamp. Is it clear, Stephanie? So I hope now this is much more clear to everyone, right? But still, I will try. I want you to try with further this thing as a homework assignment. Join it with your respective your EKPO table. Make use of a nested case expression. Add further more string functions and come up with a further much more complicated query. Is it okay to all? Okay, now let's move forward to the discussion of the assignment. So the first assignment is like how we had done yesterday. You need to make use of the switch operator and you need to replace the below input to the given expected output. Okay. So the logic is that you need to make use of the new operator to pass this input as a data reference so that you get used to that along with the inline declaration, and the output will be of type char 10. And the entire logic that you need to write is using the new operator by making use of the data reference. And along with that, you need to make use of the switch operator to manipulate A to Z and B to Y and so on, like we had done yesterday. Okay. First question is clear, right? Can we move on to the second question? Second question is, first of all, whatever the snippet I have given, you need to prepare the internal table. You need to make use of the local table type declaration and pass data to the 3 internal tables as shown. Okay. Now we had done yesterday with 2 internal tables. So for practice, what I've given, you need to manipulate with these 3 internal tables and pass the data to a 4th internal table, which will have the components customer name, then your city, then your root name, and then your root value. Condition is that you need to pass only those values where root name is not equals to root 2 and also root type should only be equals to max. Understood? The second question, this is the major condition that you need to focus on. And this is the required output that you should get. You will get only one output by clubbing all the 4 things. You need to make use of the for operator only to achieve the same. This is with practice with respect to how to manipulate the data by using 3 internal tables and how to handle the where conditions. Now coming to the 4th question, the runtime analysis that we had done yesterday, similarly check the same by 100, 1000, 10,000, 50,000 and further enhance to 1 lakh. And observe the difference in time with respect to the reduce operator and the conventional sum that you used to do at the add sum and all those operators. Okay. So by making, and you need to populate the data by making use of while or until along with for. This question is like how we practiced yesterday on the same lines. Is this clear? Question number 4. Coming to question number 5, you need to fetch Matner, Matat and MATKL data from Mara up to the 10 rows. Now you need to make use of the filter operator to filter only those data for which Matat equals to ROH. And secondly, I need to invert the selection where Matat not equals to ROH. You should get these two below outputs. You need to make use of filter operator only to achieve both the outputs. Okay, only filter operator, nothing else. Only filter operator, so that you get a practice on how to use the filter operator. Sixth question is, you need to fetch EBLN, EBLP, ZEKKN, VGAP, VWP, BUDAT and DMBTR, and these are all the technical field names from EKBE table, where my SH key ZG should be equal to either H and VGAB should be among 1 and 2. Now after you get the data from this select query, populate the data to another internal table by making use of the for operator, and the condition should be such that where PO number equals to this, if you write this query, there will be a PO number coming as this number, okay? And VGAP can be either 1 or 2. This can be my one condition, or BWTP equals to K. With this condition, you have to populate the data by making use of the for operator to other internal table. Now by using the internal table which you just created now, make use of the reduce operator to get the sum of all the DMBTR values. Note, while using the reduce operator, make sure that you take care of the floating values. So in the internal table, knowingly pass floating values. Just see if you pass type I what is happening, and if you pass a floating type like DMBTR and all, what is happening, as we had discussed. These are all the 6 questions to make you practice with all the concepts that we did yesterday. And apart from that, this select query which we did, try to practice the same. Show me a select query much more complicated than this. The more you practice, the better it is. So is all the questions clear? What you all need to do, the 7 questions? So I hope you will get a good hands-on practice with all these questions, and to add to this one. Fine. Please utilize this week at least 1 hour daily to practice all these concepts, and also whatever we did today in the class to get a feel of how do we use all these operators. Sorry guys that I exceeded 7 minutes. I hope because I wanted to show you the select query. So I hope that with this week also you further learned a lot more new concepts, and you are much more confident now and using all these concepts in your real-time project experience. And remember that photo, we need to move on to that new generation ABAP. I hope so you all are with me. And I hope you had a good takeaway from these 2 weeks till now, and you are enjoying the sessions. And the assignment, the assignment question and the notes and the code snippets will be provided to you, and the recording will be provided to by EOD. Please go through all the